Hi, guys. Welcome back. It's Sienna and Maddie, and today we spoke to a very special person named Kelly.
Kelly is an osteopathic medical student in California, and today we got to learn a little bit about the wondrous world of osteopathic medicine. She was super sweet, and we really hope you guys enjoy. Hi, guys. Welcome back to our second episode of the Pre Med Pod. Today we are joined with Kelly, and we are super excited. So, Kelly, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello everyone. So I'm Kelly. I am currently an OMS 2 at CHSU, which is an osteopathic school in California. I got in last year and I took a gap year before that. And during the gap year was like so amazing. I got to revisit a lot of my hobbies, and one of them is Polynesian dancing. I did that for probably 7 years prior to my gap year, and then I took a break, and then I decided to dance like professionally for it for a year. So that was really cool for me. I got to perform. It was amazing. I 100% like recommend a gap year, and I got to travel a lot. Visited different states like Hawaii, Colorado. I think we went to Chicago. We went to Illinois, Chicago. Yeah, I really like traveling. That's what I noticed during my gap year, and Mexico's kind of impinging me on that, so we'll work around that. Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, wow. Okay, that is really cool. I did not know you did that much traveling and also Polynesian dancing. That sounds like a ton of fun. I'm awful at dancing, but like I would totally try a class. What do
I
you think
recommend
like
it.
oh yeah, for sure. What do you think your favorite like place you went was? Because did you kind of stay in the States or did you go like all over? What was kind of like the plan?
I didn't really have a plan. It was more like, oh, my friends like lived here, and I was like, oh, I'll go visit them. Just because it kind of gives you a reason to go, and like they already know the area, so they give you a tour and whatnot. But out of all of them, my favorite place is Hawaii. I've been several times already. Like it practically feels like home over there. It's just it's so nice. Like you step out of the airport, and it's just instantly relaxation. Like I just don't ever want to leave that place. It's always so beautiful, and like so many activities, like good food, like good sights. I love nature, so that's also cool for me. And yeah, I would pick Hawaii or Disneyland. I'm a huge Disneyland person.
Oh my gosh.
No, I was in Hawaii last year for Thanksgiving. I loved it. I was like, this is the best. Like my skin was
Yes.
clear. The literal sand was like so soft. I was with my cousin. We were joking. We were like, we need to package this sand up and make like a brand or something because it's like making our
Yeah, like
skin
an
so soft.
exfoliator.
Yeah, we were like, this is
Yeah,
amazing.
I think it's actually good for your skin. I read that somewhere because I always go to the beach and I just start rubbing that all over.
No,
Oh
literally.
my,
I'm like, somebody has to do research on this because it's gotta be it's gotta be good.
It could be your research. That'd be really sick to present.
Yes, that would be so cool. Okay,
new idea.
maybe. Anyways, so you've done a lot of traveling and you're dancing. How did you get into your like love of medicine?
I initially did not start there. I wanted to be a fashion designer, a teacher. I applied to like my undergrad as a chemical engineering major. It was between like chemical engineering and psychology, and I kind of just like alternated the colleges with those majors, and then I got into UC Irvine under a psychology major. And then I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And after a few classes, I really liked behavioral science in general. It's just like understanding how people work and what they think, it's just how personalities are built. So then I was like, oh, maybe I'll do like psychiatry. And then turns out you have to go to med school for psychiatry. And I was like, well, damn. So that's when I started looking into medicine, but it was more like my junior year of college was when I made the switch. So I did psychology for 2 years, and then I added a bio major on top, so I was double majoring. Um, totally insane. I don't know if I recommend a bio major and plus something else. Yeah. And then I started to volunteer. I think my first volunteering was like at a hospice care center. Um, Really cool because the hospice program that I worked with, they have these memory bears where loved ones can send in clothing and then they stitch it into a bear to give. And I got to be the person that delivered those bears. So that was really cool, for my experience. The part where people like passed away like took a toll on me, so I just couldn't do hospice. But I did notice that like I really like being there for people during like these like pivotal moments, like really big moments. So then I just started doing more health related things. And then I started falling in love with just like not just helping people, but like really being there for them and helping them make like these important decisions. So that's how I started getting to medicine, but it wasn't always from the start. And I don't come from a family of like healthcare where they're all like engineers. So that's why chemical engineering was more of like a calling for me, but things worked out and I guess I'm here.
No, that's so
Yeah.
cool because I know like not a lot of people know what they want to do from like a young age. Luckily we do,
Yeah.
or we have ideas, but it's always so interesting because a lot of people that are successful like in the healthcare industry don't start off like wanting to be a doctor or anything. So it's really cool. But I actually have a question. So, what is osteopathic medicine and how did your love of like caring for the person but also their decisions and stuff play into the like play a role in deciding what you actually wanted to pursue?
Yeah, so osteopathic medicine, I believe by the book, is a holistic version of westernized medicine. So we look into how the body, mind, and your spirit all like come together. Um, the main difference that you notice is like we do everything MD do, but we have like a separate set of skills on top of that. So essentially, we have like an extra toolbox and it's mostly osteopathic manipulative techniques where you use your hands mostly to kind of manipulate tissue and fascia move it around. And that heals the same things that like a medication can, like for headaches. Instead of taking like an ibuprofen, like for people who don't want to take medication, you can do like a myofascial release, like on the neck area, and like that would get rid of your headache. So for me, I thought that was really cool, especially since I come from a Vietnamese background, and I feel like most cultural medicine are not very familiar or comfortable with just taking medication constantly. So I wanted to pursue osteopathic to kind of have like another avenue of like healing people besides like just taking drugs, basically. So that's how that got me there, and my family loves it. I've only done 1 year of osteopathic medicine, but there's so many techniques like you can use like at home, like on your parents, on yourself, on your friends. Like I'll have like an ache on my arm, and you can use counter strain. It'll get rid of it in like 90 seconds. But then most people would like think to take like painkillers. Like I just think honestly it feels like witchcraft sometimes, but it's cool at the end of the day.
You said you liked when you were there to help them make decisions. So how did your love for medicine, not literally, but like the medical field, and like the decision making, how did that like all play a role in deciding on osteopathic medicine? Like how did you find out about it? How did
hmm
you
Yeah, so I mean I started off like doing the hospice care, and then it just so happened that like one of my aunts like passed away like during that same time, and she was also under hospice care, so I knew a lot about that. And like a big inspiration of my journey is like her whole story. Um my family was personally so frustrated with like the healthcare system because they were just dismissing us with our cultural needs. Like we wanted to pray in her room, and they told us that we couldn't do that, or like they told us that like they couldn't do this and that. But and it kind of makes you feel like they're not doing enough, or they're not exhausting like all their options. So I know at that time we were seeking like different types of medicine. I believe one of her doctors was a DO, so that was really interesting to me. So it gave us a little bit of hope, and then, like obviously she passed away and I was upset at first, but I realized that like the beauty of medicine is that you do help people, but there's also like limitations and you kind of have to understand that and like work around it and just find beauty in like the rest of the field. So I just started volunteering and working more. I think what really solidified me in medicine was working at a fertility clinic. those moments were amazing. Like people are trying to get pregnant and they can't, and like, the moment they do, like their whole life changes. Like it's so crazy. Like their eyes light up, and like it's just so beautiful that you're bringing life for someone, you know, like. And I realized like I want to constantly get that feeling of like, oh, like I'm gonna like pivot people's like lives, and like they're gonna live an awesome day. Like I don't know, that feeling was so amazing, especially when they come back and we get to do the ultrasound on them, and like they hear the heartbeat and they see the baby. Like I always cry. I'm so emotional. But yeah, so that continued to inspire me to pursue medicine, and osteopathic was more of a choice because I wanted to go back and like help my Vietnamese community who most likely are not into Western medicine. So like I said, I really like having that other avenue of like osteopathic techniques.
That's really cool. And this is going back a little bit. I loved what you said about being able to kind of connect like your family and your culture to medicine. Um, did you grow up in a house influenced by Vietnamese culture, or like was your family? Did your parents immigrate? Are you first generation? Like, what's kind of your story from your childhood and growing up?
Yeah, my parents are immigrants and I am first gen. So it was very like Vietnamese heavy growing up. My parents didn't know English, so that's all we spoke at home. They put me into Vietnamese school for like 8 years. So very heavy on that. And till this day, like they speak like very little, and then my grandma almost speaks like no English at all. So for me, family was really important. So like I kept that kind of rooted in me. And then during that time, like my parents, like they were not making a lot. My mom was a stay at home and my dad was the only source of income. And we just didn't have a lot of money, and that comes with like no insurance or just not great insurance. Like you know how there's Medi-Cal, but like just because you have Medi-Cal doesn't mean you get the good service. Um, so during that time, like I lived in Stockton, which is a very like rural area, and I had to drive like 2 hours just to get to like a physician. Like it was insane. So my mom just started like treating us with like home remedies, like Vietnamese home remedies that she knows. Like if I get the flu, she'll rub ginger on my back or lemon on my back, and like just magically worked. I don't understand how, because nowadays you take like Theraflu or like some NyQuil, like some kind of like medication. Um, so yeah, like growing up, we didn't have much, and I didn't have any guidance in terms of academics or yeah, like most of us was kind of like just trying to survive basic everyday lives. Like I moved so often, so I never had a stable home. But I think what I'm most like proud of is like my family was always there. Like we always managed to have dinner together every night. You know, so that like they're my one of my biggest inspirations basically.
That's amazing. I love that your family is really important to you. But like you said, so this is a little bit off topic, but you said that you didn't have a lot of guidance in your education. So how did you manage like I guess since you said you were in Vietnamese school, how did you manage the transition between that and then a regular, like I don't know if you were in public, private, one like a school, a different regular kind of school, and how did you, I guess, like how did you like deal with that in especially high school?
Yeah, I was put into ESL because we only spoke Vietnamese at home, so English was very tough for me. And I think during that time, like I made good friends and I made Vietnamese friends also, so they spoke English and Vietnamese, so that kind of helped me transition. But I guess for like the majority of my life, like I did feel like I was always like behind everyone. Like I didn't have the resources or the privilege to even get all these information. Like I felt like I did everything on my own. Like I just use Google or ask people here and there. And sometimes you feel like people don't tell you everything, you know, so you kind of have to learn how to decipher between good and bad advice. Um, so that kind of dragged on till like I would say middle school. In high school, I got very lucky. I met these five girls, and we were all Vietnamese. What a coincidence! But they were like my girl group, and I feel like they really helped me feel like I belong there. Yeah, so that helped a lot. So social support, I am all for it. Finding good friends, good people to surround yourself with, especially people you want to be, like there's a saying where like your five closest people represent you as a person, so I make sure I surround myself with genuine people because that's who I want to be. Yeah.
I really like that. That's so sweet. I think like it's actually really funny and we'll kind of talk about it later, but one of our rapid fire questions that we do at the end is about how relationships play into your life and how they're important to you. And it sounds like your girl group really did,
Yeah.
like they're your support girls, they're the people there for you. And I do like what you said, the 5 people that you surround yourself with do make up who you are. And I think that's really beautiful.
It's
Yeah, I
true.
love
Like
that.
I feel like when I got into medical school, I called up all my friends and all my family and I told them like we got into medical school, like not just me, because this whole journey, I could have not done this by myself. It's so it's just so rough and it's so tedious and like a lot of parts like during especially taking the MCAT and like just passing your main science courses in college, like it can feel a little degrading and people aren't always the nicest when you're like a pre-med. So having all my friends support me and they see me through all my crying sessions. They still tell me till this day. They're like, "Remember when you cried about that test?" And I was like, "Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that." So they cried when I told them that I got into medical school. So
I know you had a different path originally. You wanted to be a chemical engineer, but did you take any AP classes in high school that you think now looking back helped you in your current occupation?
yeah, so I pretty much took all the AP classes that were offered just because all my friends were telling me that's what you're supposed to do to get into like a good college. But looking back, I feel like it didn't really do it that much or didn't have a big of a difference because like some of the colleges took APs and some of them didn't. And they just took it for like whatever credit it's worth. So let's say like you score like a 3 on like AP calc, then you'll get like a certain amount of units and that goes into like your college credits or your college units in total. And the upper hand of that is that the higher your college units, the more priority you got to choose your classes. So it helped in that sense, but I didn't feel like it helped me academically. Um, I guess like the material you see again in college is the repeat of AP material in high school. So you'll be quicker to pick it up, but essentially I feel like it's all kind of the same. I feel like it's not too crucial, but I would just suggest it to kind of get like a heads up for college. But I wouldn't like beat myself up for it if you like don't do well because it's like insane. It pays insanely fast compared to college. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And you went to UC Irvine, right?
Yeah.
For undergrad?
I went to UC
How
Irvine.
did you Amazing. How did you choose it? I toured it and I really liked the campus, but of course, like you've experienced it firsthand. Like, how did you choose UC Irvine as your school?
Yeah, so I got into I believe like 6 UCs or something, and I was caught between UC Davis and UC Irvine. Um, Davis because my that was my dad's dream school, and I was like, oh my God, like I got into my dad's dream school, like, I can't wait to fulfill his dreams, yeah, yeah, yeah. But we went to campus, and I had such a weird like gut feeling that I didn't belong there. Like I could not describe why. I just walked onto Davis campus. It's beautiful. It's big, biking, trees, and it just didn't feel right. I felt like it didn't belong. Um, and I didn't tour UCI. I was just like, I'm just gonna choose the other one. And I was like, well, I'm just gonna move. And Irvine was basically 6 hours away from home too, and Davis was only an hour. So obviously my parents were very upset that I chose the farthest school away from them. I got there, and honestly, you're right. The campus is beautiful. I love all the greenery there, and I love how it's just like a small circle. So you kind of just go around, the entire campus. I personally like that more because I like more of an intimate feeling, more like family vibe versus like Davis is so big. I feel like you just can't run into people. But whereas like in Irvine, you're like walking by classes and you see your friends and it's exciting. You're like, oh my God, what class are you going to? I really liked it. I learned to love Irvine. I hated it at first because my boyfriend at the time went to Davis and I could have chose Davis, and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. I chose the one that's 6 hours away instead. Um, and actually I applied to transfer to Davis twice. And I got in twice. And for some odd reason, right when they were like, oh, do you accept this? Like, I had that weird gut feeling again that like I didn't belong there. So then I ended up sticking with UCI. So I guess it was meant to be. I don't know. And I grew to love it. I would highly recommend
That's
it. It's so close to everything. The beach is like 20 minutes away. I went to the beach probably like 3 times a week. I loved it.
I remember seeing like the water from campus and I was like, oh my gosh. And then also there's a bridge. I remember
Yes.
the bridge
Yep.
and engineering students made the bridge.
Isn't that cool?
And it goes, it's so cool. And then there's a Trader Joe's on the other side, which
there's
I mean,
so much
so
on the other side. Like you cross the bridge and you have Target, you have Starbucks, Chick-fil-A, Trader Joe's, like literally everything you need. And then like if you take a bus, so we have a school bus, and you take the bus to the next stop, it's a different plaza that has like food and like a grocery store. Like Irvine is just built like a college town, and I really like that because you don't need a car, to be honest. You just walk around, you get to all your places. And you see, I believe it's pretty new. Like I know we have a lot of new buildings, so it's very techy, which I like. Like we have desks that has like a TV that like, rises up like this at each table. It's insane. Like let's say like each table seats 6 of you guys. There's a TV that just goes like this up from the table. That's so cool.
that's
Yeah, and
so cool.
right? And then like at each table there's like an outlet for you guys to like plug in your laptop so you don't have to like find like a wall outlet. Yeah, they're UCI is getting a lot of money. So they're getting a lot of high tech stuff, which I really like.
It's totally on my list
yeah,
because I grew up in LA. I live in Florida now, but I grew up in LA, so I was always like going to UCLA and stuff. So UCLA is on my list, but like obviously it's through the UC system. So I've been looking at UCI,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and this is like really interesting. So I'm like, I have to look at it.
It's pretty nice. I would recommend it, and I don't have any complaints about UCI at all. My only advice for when you guys are in college is like don't apply as an undecided or undeclare because it's just really hard to even get classes because all the other students get priority in their like classes. So like if I'm a bio major, I get priority in chemistry, physics, and bio, right? But as undeclared, you go very end, and by that time like all these seats are taken up and you're left with like all these like random classes, which sucks because you have to fill out your GE requirements, right? So I would rather like you pick a major and then switch like between majors because at least you have like some kind of priority when it comes to picking classes.
that's actually so interesting. I never really thought of it like that. And it's actually really funny because a lot of schools are like, they almost advertise that you can go undeclared. They're like, oh, yeah, like you can have so much time to choose what you want to do. And I kind of forget, like, and that's such a good point that you bring up. There could also be majors that you may want to do completely full or
Mm-hmm.
classes that you just can't take. So that's really good. And that's actually really good advice to
no one
like think
no one
about that.
tells like people this, and I'm just like, why? Like some of my friends who were undeclared, undecided, like it was so hard for them to get classes, and they ended up having to do like an extra year in college. And I don't know if you guys know, but FAFSA only pays for 4 years of college, so you stay an extra year, it's out of your pocket.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did not know
See,
that.
where are people telling anyone these information?
No, we need
Yeah,
you.
I
so
wish I knew.
We're like,
yeah.
we need you to tell us. Like, we're going through the process.
Like our
So
admissions
nervous.
assistant.
Yeah, literally. We're so
Mhm.
nervous. Like we're writing the essays now and stuff, and it's just like, ooh, I'm scared. But
They also
like
changed so much with like your college apps. Like I feel like it's much
Mhm.
more like hard and more competitive now because I felt like back then for us we wrote 1 or 2 essays and it was kind of like why do you want to go here type of like vibe. But now you guys have to write like 4 different prompts and the word count is tiny.
It's so scary. And I think like Maddie and I are like both the oldest too. So we're like going through it. We're like, okay, guys, like to my sisters, I'm like, please, whenever you do this, like start now because I'm like dying.
Yeah,
But
I tell most of like my high school mentees to like start like brainstorming like at least 6 months in advance because so then you can at least have time for people to revise your stuff. Like no one Everyone tells you so last minute. I don't think it's fair.
You're a high school mentor, so do you like help like high school students with admissions or just, for fun or as a job?
Um, I feel like this is similar to the program you guys met in, but I did a summer pre-med program where I was a coach. Like our title was like pre-med coach. So I got a lot of high school students and I got to mentor probably like a small group of 6. So each of us had a small group and then essentially we're a mentor for like 150 of them. So I kept my connections with them to help them through like high school and then applying to college and hopefully one day they get to like medical school. So that's how I got involved. Yeah, like a summer pre-med program. I feel like is that similar to what you guys did?
A little bit, but we did not have it where we were assigned like the small groups like that. We were in
Oh.
like lecture halls and then did labs.
Yeah.
Oh, did you
We
guys have
had like
mentors or
mentoring.
like okay.
Yeah, we had, remember like those like there was like a few, but they weren't like mentors. They did not care. One of the my mentor was like
Oh.
They were
no, yeah, my mentor like called out sick and then the kid saw her in the gym. Like it was not mentory.
No, that's so that's not good.
different. We were in different dorms, so like we stayed in the dorms when we were there, and there was like 3 buildings, and we were in different ones. But they were almost like I'm not sure what they're called in the dorms, but it's like when they have an upperclassman stay and
Oh, like an
watch, and like
RA.
kind of RA, that's what they're
Yeah.
called. Yeah. They had like an RA for us. And so I guess those were like our quote unquote like mentors.
Mm.
But yeah, they more just kept our curfew and
Yeah,
checked our bed.
yeah. We were for our program. We were. This is through UCI again. If you go through UCI, if you go to UCI, you can be a pre-med coach for high school students.
That's amazing.
So cool. But yeah, like we had students come in and we were assigned groups and we do activities such as like each group had a like a case to present and we had to diagnose the patient and see like we actually got to see the patient diagnose and come up with a plan and come up with like how to treat them. So we throughout the entire summer we kind of walked the students through that entire project and then they got to present it at the end. So it's really cool.
Oh, that's so cool. And how long was it?
It was a summer. I can't remember if it's like if it was a month or half a month, but sometime in the summer. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Really cool.
Super
Yeah,
cool.
so I thought that all the summer programs were like that.
No. No. We did cool things though. We did get to dissect cadavers,
That is
which
cool.
was
Yeah. Yeah, we had some really good opportunities.
yeah. But I don't know, hopefully that helps us in college. So, like if you
Yeah.
had that, do you think like if you had that like pre-med summer like opportunity that you would have gone about college differently or like if you had
I feel
that
like I definitely would have honed into like doing medicine. Yeah, because like I feel like it's different, like kind of I guess like reading stuff and whatnot, but this one, like, we really immersed the students into medicine. Like, we brought them to a cadaver lab and we taught them like suturing. We had them do laparoscopy. Like, we taught them a lot. Oh, we did splinting, BLS. Like, it was very hands-on learning what like medicine is like. Um, and honestly, like, I feel like if I was a student there, like, I'd be really inspired to like pursue more of medicine. And I mean, at the end of the day, like the students inspired me to continue to do medicine actually. Like during that time, I was kind of giving up on it because it was so tough.
Yeah. I think when we learned, like when I was there at least, I feel like by the end of the week at first, because they were going to be sophomores in med school, it was really funny. At first I think they were kind of unsure, nervous because they only do it for 1 year. And then by the end of the week, we were all just like good friends with the students and the
Yeah.
mentors. It was a really cool like experience. And I feel like I know I felt really inspired. I was pretty unsure of medicine last year, but now I feel like I know I want to go into it. And then I think they almost felt like better about their decisions too. I think one of them actually said that because they gave a little piece of advice at the end and they were like, it's so hard. And like, I really felt like I struggled, but like being able to teach it is a completely different avenue and it was really inspiring.
Yeah, I agree. Like one of my other passions is literally mentoring and teaching those like younger than me because I felt like I went through the entire journey like kind of like clueless, like I didn't have any guidance, and now I want to do that for people. And what's cool is like at my school we have a club dedicated to going out to local high schools and like showing them all these medical skills and kind of like encouraging them to apply to the medical school here. So yeah, I feel like people who are interested in medicine keeps me inspired because it's like wow, like you guys want to be me, and I'm over here wanting to leave this spot. So it's very nice. I love it.
After med school, do you think you see yourself teaching, or what do you see as like your career in the future?
I thought about academics. I'm not sure because like I've gotten a few of my friends telling me I'm a good tutor. So I was like, oh, okay, like maybe I'll look into that. I haven't thought too far. At the moment, I want to prioritize having a family. I want to like get married, have kids, and all that stuff. And obviously, with the whole medical school and residency and then fellowship, possibly like your schedule is very demanding, and I want to be able to allocate enough time to create like a healthy family, not just to have a family, you know? So as of now, I'm still kind of figuring out what I want to do so that I can have that family life. Yeah, like originally I was interested in OBGYN, but I found out that you do a lot of like on calls, kind of in the middle of the night, and I don't know if that's the kind of lifestyle I want if I'm like taking care of like my baby or like wanting to have enough time to be with my family. Like I feel like on an on-call schedule that sporadic would not fit me. So I'm kind of just in the midst of discovering what works best for my lifestyle in the future.
That's so nice. That's really sweet. And I think it's really important. And I feel like this is something that isn't talked about as much, but like when people have families, like it's so important for timing. And I think a lot of people want to start families either super young
Hmm.
or wait. But I feel like there is a, like, it's, this is kind of off topic, but people always worry about having children super young, but maybe it's not the best time. And I think you prioritizing school and then having a healthy family
Hmm.
is really important. It should be talked about more.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people that flip their timeline, right? Like some people in my class, they decide to have a family first and have a different career first to kind of settle their family in and then pursue med school. And then there are some of us that got right out of college and straight to med school. So everyone has a different route. So I did receive good advice recently saying how like you're never gonna be ready for anything and you're gonna wait forever for that ready moment. So what you have to do is basically prioritize it, do it. Like don't think too hard on it because the longer you think, like it's never the right moment's never gonna happen. So I'm just gonna get married and have a kid whenever I feel like it's okay, you know, because essentially you do it and then you just learn how to adjust after. Like it's much easier to do that than to wait around.
Yeah, and I'm
Mhm.
actually shadowing a trauma surgeon. I just shadowed, and she told me that she originally was in residency. I'm pretty sure to do general surgery, and it was really demanding on call. And she has kids, so she was like, I didn't like being able, like, not being able to like eat dinner with them. I wanted to eat dinner with them, so
Yeah.
I had to kind of adjust my work to have that good work life balance and to have everything that she wanted. So I thought that was really cool, and I think that it's really good that you're um so open about that, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to, I'm gonna be a doctor, I'm not gonna have kids, or I want kids, I'm not gonna be a doctor. But like it's good to, you can do both, like.
Oh yeah, like I feel like it's possible. Obviously it is challenging, especially being like a female in medicine. You are playing like a career woman as well as like a mother and a wife. Like the role is pretty demanding, and I feel like there hasn't been a lot of guidance in that. So I've been seeking a lot of like mentorship from female physicians so that I can kind of get a better idea what it's like, you know? Because I feel like as a male physician, like you go to work, but you don't have to so much as like go home and take care of the kids and cook and clean. Like it's a, like I feel like being a female in medicine is a lot more demanding. Yeah.
Did you ever experience sexism in med school, or saying that you wanted to go into the medical field? Did you ever kind of experience that or feel like you were being targeted because you were a woman?
Not so much in med school. Our school actually prides on the fact that more than half of our class are female. So it's very empowering where I'm at. So I'm very happy about that. Um, I do see a little bit of it in terms of like the faculty like interactions, but I feel like our class is meant to change that whole mindset. So I'm very excited for that. Plus, we just accepted a new class incoming, and it's more like way more females than males. And our dean was telling us how like there just happened to be a surge of like more females wanting to become physicians. So I'm very happy that it looks like there's some kind of shift happening. So we can look out for that.
No, yeah.
That's really exciting. I think like women in STEM in general is like so important, especially right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going really off topic. Is that an anthropology mug?
I don't. I got it as a gift because it has K on it.
Yeah, because
And then
it's so
pink and it's pink inside. It's so cute.
I'm obsessed. That's
love
adorable.
that.
Okay, because I went to anthropology yesterday and I was like, they have the little monogrammed ones, and I was like, I need one. I need one.
It's cute.
Oh my gosh, we should get one, and like we have something while we're drinking while we're doing our podcast.
Yes.
New idea. New
We love
idea.
that.
So cute.
Yes. All the
I
ideas
had to
on
say
here.
it. It's okay.
No, literally all of our
But-
ideas are coming on here, like our research with the literal sand, our
That's good.
setup.
Amazing. This is gonna have like a great like little after, like what's it like the pearls at the end, like the little extra.
I mean, like,
No, like,
even beyond like this, like, feel free to reach out for me because I know you guys are applying to college, and like, there's a lot of like med related things, experience that like are offered to undergrads that people don't tell you about. So I'd be happy to share that as well. Like, I think Kaiser might have something along those lines. Like, I know Kaiser has one for med students as well. So I just did a program with Kaiser, and it's phenomenal. I really love that company. They're so good.
Okay, but going back, okay, this is a little bit off topic, but not really. I think it'll
Every
link in.
question you've asked so far has been off topic, but like the past
Like,
three questions were like, this is kind of off topic.
It's off topic, but like it's not.
Okay, just
so
do
it's
it.
okay.
It's off on topic.
Yeah.
I was like literally gonna have an aneurysm in the sun.
I can't. Okay.
I can't. Okay, but as an osteopathic student, what are like the three main things that you practice at home? Like, what are like your three tips for, like natural remedies or lifestyle choices? Like, what are those three main things?
So the ones I've used so far is called myofascial release. I'm not sure how far in anatomy high school goes, but essentially like you have your skin layer, and then you have your fat layer, and then you have your fascia, then muscle. And most of the time, the reason why you have like knots in your muscle or just feel like kind of like restricted or pain is because your fascia is like I guess like mixed up together. It's all tied up and it's constricting your muscles. So we do something called myofascial release, where you kind of relax the fascia and like basically untangle it or detangle it, not untangle, detangle it, and it helps like people feel more relaxed and loose, and like it's just like the tightness just goes away. I don't understand how, but I do it very often to my friends. And then I also use counter strain, which is another technique. I use it whenever I get like a little bit like muscle cramps, and you kind of like hold like the point of the pain, and then you shorten the muscle. So let's say it's like my shoulder here, right? Your muscle goes from like here to here, and you want to shorten it, so you want to move it together, and you hold that position for like 90 seconds, and then it goes away. Like, I don't know. I think that's pretty cool. So those are the two main osteopathic techniques I've been using. I don't really have a third main one. They teach us a lot about culinary medicine in osteopathic school, so we've been learning a lot about how to like substitute food. So I personally been incorporating that into my diet more, like more greens and obviously veggies, more colorful things. And they really like the Mediterranean diet. So I've been trying to like get into Mediterranean food more to kind of change my diet. Yeah, I would say those three, but not too much because like I'm only done 1 year of osteopathic school, so
Yeah.
there's really not much yet. But maybe ask me in a year. I'll be a pro at that.
Okay, I have a question. So obviously osteopathic, I mean, I not obviously, I guess. Osteopathic medicine is different from medical school. So, or they're both medical school, but it's like you said, the extra tools and stuff. So you had to do the same path to medical school though? Like what makes it different? Because if you did, I know you said the MCAT. So, is it the same path? And then how do they differ in like timing and like courses?
Yeah, so everything is the exact same. You take the MCAT, you take all the same prereqs, you apply through actually MD you apply through ACOM or ACOMIS
Is it
or something like that,
AMCAS
ACOMS.
or something? I think it's
Yeah,
like
AMCAS or something
AMCAS.
like that.
Yeah,
And then
AMCAS.
for DOs you apply through a different like system, but still kind of the same thing. So the path to get into the schools is the same. And then also in school, you still do 4 years. So we still do 4 years. The only difference is that like we do the osteopathic medicine on top of your regular curriculum. So MD schools would have their curriculum, and we do the exact same curriculum, but then we have an extra class in osteopathic medicine. Yeah, and then instead of taking step one, we take Comlex level one. So, and that one tests us on all the basics like medicine stuff plus osteopathic on top of it. Yeah, so that would be the only difference. I don't think it's that big of a difference, to be honest. I feel like we're doctors either way. We learn the same material. I feel like osteopathic physicians have like an advantage when it comes to serving communities that have access to medication or like don't have insurance to purchase those kind of drugs, and then we can just kind of treat them on the spot with our hands, which is like really nice, especially for underserved communities.
That's like actually really good because I I mean, I didn't know that I mean, I had an overview of osteopathic medicine, but I never thought about it in that way. And I love doing like giving back to the community. So just to know that that's actually an option to do something like that is super cool. I never, and I know a lot of people are are into community service, are into all that kind of stuff. So I think it's super cool that you have the ability to like do that without all the crazy like additional stuff. Like, yeah, I think it's cool.
I'm not like I was never super acquainted with osteopathic medicine. I feel like within the past maybe 2 years I've become a lot more acquainted with it, and this is kind of random, but I do this thing all the time and I don't know if it's osteopathic medicine. You can tell me if it's not, but if I ever have headaches or stomach aches, there's like this spot right here that's like a pressure point, and if I like push at it, I hold it for like 30 seconds or like a minute, my headache or stomach ache is completely gone.
Yeah, there
And I don't.
it's a concept. I forget if it's called a trigger point or Chapman reflex points, but there are certain points in your body that if it hurts or if you push on it, it relates to like an internal organ. Like it's so like I don't understand the witchcraft behind it, but it works. Like your kidney, like if you feel pain at like your seventh or not your seventh, your 11th rib, it indicates that something's wrong with your kidney. I'm just like, what? Yeah,
Wow.
like it doesn't make sense, but then it works, so that it feels cool at the same time. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really cool when you don't have access to like westernized medicine or just like all those expensive gadget things that we end up able to do with just our hands. So you develop a like really good palpatory skills.
No, I love I
That's really
no, yeah,
cool.
it really is because especially in my like shadowing, um I saw that like I mean like I get you see it on Grey's Anatomy when you come in they like rush you in and everything's like so
Yeah.
crazy, but that's really how it is. It's so crazy when you're in there and like if you're like in need of something and you like need an emergency surgery or something or um there's something going wrong, you're not sure why, you're having migraines all the time, it's not it's they kind of just throw you in there and they kind of just do everything at once when you first get in to the hospital. And it's kind of like, what if you don't have the resources to like pay for that, or the resources to even get to a hospital? So I feel like that's super cool what you do.
Yeah,
Is
thanks.
that
I mean,
like,
I'm not a practicing physician yet, so I don't entirely know how to apply the scope of osteopathic medicine, but from what I learned and to my knowledge, like I feel like it's such a good advantage, especially when like you can treat minor things at home with like your family and friends. It's so cool.
yeah, it is. It reminds me of AP psychology, because I would like learn about something and I would be like, okay, I'm using this when I get home.
That was me. Like, I think I learned about like how to identify like a sociopath or something. And now I just watch everyone. I'm like, you a sociopath? Like, are you exhibiting those qualities that I learned about? It's
Literally.
No, I feel like that's like me with like, okay, I'm a big true crime
Me
person.
too. I
So
love
whenever
it.
I see someone talking about true crime, or like they have the lie detectors, I try and look out for that when I'm talking to someone. I'm like, are you for real right now? I don't know. I can't tell. But no, that's so cool. Yeah, I love being able to like take things and just apply them right away. It's so fun for me.
yeah, like if you guys get a chance to shadow a DO physician like during college, like be cool. I would just ask them if they actually use osteopathic medicine during their practice, because some of the people I've talked to, they don't use it. So like you won't really understand what osteopathic medicine is, but yeah, look out for someone who actively practices it. It's really cool.
So I have a question about I guess like practicing it, cuz we talked a little bit about like a stigma about women in the medical field, but have you experienced any stigma around osteopathic medicine? Because I know probably people don't believe in like all of the like techniques and stuff, like the food, or I guess food, but um like how you said rubbing like ginger on your back, like I guess some people might not believe in that kind of stuff. So have you experienced any stigma around like being an osteopathic like medical doctor?
I mean, like a lot of us come in and when we are in lab, we're just like, ain't no way this works. This is crazy. But then we get to like practice it in lab, and then your partner is like, oh my god, it worked. And then we're just like, what the heck? But my family and friends are super supportive about it because they like they like that they don't have to take medicine basically. So I feel like I haven't really faced too crazy of like that kind of situation. You do get a lot of like, oh, like, are you really a real doctor? Or like, oh, it's not MD. Like, what does DO even mean? Like, you get a lot of that, but I feel like all it takes is just educating people on what osteopathic medicine is. It's a pretty new field, to be honest. Like, I feel like there's still research being done. So, yeah, I like telling people about it. I feel like it's so cool. I wish it was kind of like required for everyone to learn the techniques, because what a cool tool set to have, you know?
Mhm. And I think it's really cool because a lot of what's practiced in osteopathic medicine and more Eastern medicine in general is these things have been practiced for generations and thousands of years. And when people are using all of these different drugs, I mean, of course, there's research done because then that would be illegal. But it's such a new concept, and we don't really know long-term effects yet of what certain medications can do to us or certain injections or whatnot. And so I think kind of going back to Eastern medicine, this is something that's been an osteopathic medicine. This is like a regenerative thing. It's been around for ages. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work for the individual, then it doesn't work. It won't actually cause any harm.
Yeah.
And so I think also with, at first do no harm, that's a big thing. And I think it's really cool. And I do think it should be more
Yeah,
normalized.
so maybe by the time you guys get to med school, it would be more popular.
I just think it would be cool to have like, even as a minor in like undergrad, like to learn about like osteopathic medicine, like
That is
just something
true.
that would be so
Or like
interesting.
integrated medicine, something of the sort.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like it should just be like
There's really
offered,
not
you know?
much. There's really not much offered in undergrad when it comes to like medicine. Like I feel like you always have to seek it somewhere else.
Mhm.
That's why we wanted to
Yeah, I
start
mean,
this, because we were like, we don't really know. Like,
yeah. All right. So I think we're going to slowly start to wrap this up, but we talked a little bit about our rapid fire closing session. And so there's 3 questions, and you kind of already answered the second one, but we'll still do
Okay.
it. And you can answer it as short or as long as you want. But yeah, so we'll just get started. And our first question is, what is one piece of advice you would give your high school self?
Hmm. Wow, that's a big one. I feel like I did not remember any of high school. It's been so long. Um, I feel like I would tell myself to probably stand my ground, be confident, to trust that you are making the right decision because sometimes like you're different for a good reason, you know? And I feel like people are scared to be different a lot of times, like you want to fit in, but that's not really how you become top 10% of the world. Like there's a reason why they're not the majority. So I would tell myself to probably be more confident in myself and yeah, trust myself, surround myself with good people. I feel like I learned that in college. Definitely surround yourself with people and family. Honestly, family is amazing. Even if you guys go through a lot of problems, like at the end of the day, like they're kind of like obligated to always be there for you versus like your friends can come and go. So I would heavily rely on my family, but I understand that not everyone is as privileged as me to come from such a supportive family. So yeah, but I guess overall, just believe in yourself more because at the end of the day, like, if no one believes in you, at least you have yourself.
it's
It's funny, that actually relates perfectly into our second one about your family. The second one is, how do relationships play a role in your life?
Yeah, so like I said before, they like family, friends, my partner, like all have helped me so much, not in terms of like not academically, like doing the actual med school for me or at learning, just being there, like they remind me of my passions. Like when I start feeling like, oh, this is not for me, they tell me, oh, last year you were literally like this, you said this. So they remind me of my goals a lot. They keep me accountable. Very supportive. And even on days where I feel like I don't want to do medicine anymore, they tell me that it's okay because at the end of the day, like they know that I will always make the best decision and the right decision for me. So yeah, very supportive. I love them very much.
That's so sweet. And yeah, I'm so lucky that my family is also very supportive. And I know Maddie also has a very supportive family. And I do think if you don't have family, you have like, I think even if they're not blood related, your closest friends can be your family.
Hmm.
Even you, like you are your own family. And I think finding trust and putting like your faith into somebody or yourself is so important to, yeah, hold yourself accountable and remember your why as to why you're doing something or why you want to pursue something. So I really like that.
Yeah, and like honestly, a lot of the times, like I don't know, I feel like you need people, and even if you can't family or friends, you have people who are willing to mentor you. Like, there's always at least one person out there that wants to be there for you and support you and see you thrive. So, at the end of the day, like, you're really not alone. Like, I highly doubt anyone is. There's always someone out there that wants to believe in you and push you.
all right. And then our last question is, what is the biggest challenge you are facing right now, and how are you tackling it?
Wow, can I say med school in general?
Yeah.
Oh my god, my biggest challenge. Oh, let's see. I don't know. I feel it's tough to for me to view what like biggest challenges because I feel like just getting up the next day and like completing the task for the day is such a big accomplishment for me because I don't know, I like to take things like one day at a time and I like to celebrate those small accomplishments. So it's not such a big mountain, but I guess my biggest challenge right now, probably getting through med school. It's been kind of tough. The didactic years are really kicking my butt. Like it's so fast paced. It's fast paced, really competitive. So I've been trying to keep myself grounded, but like I have a really supportive partner. Every time I start to go downhill, like he reminds me of like why I want to do this. Like I said before, have supportive people. And then I met really great friends here too, and like whenever I tell them what I'm going through, they feel the same. So you really don't feel alone. Yeah, I guess that would be it. But other than that, like I'm pretty content with life. Yeah, took a lot. It took a long time to get here. I feel like went through a lot of adversity. Yeah, and now I'm here, and I truly believe that like hard work pays off.
No, I love that. It's sometimes it's so hard to like remind yourself like I have to get through this to get to my end goal, but I mean, that's great that you know, like have that support system and you're so confident in your own like abilities. I'm gonna think of you when I feel down.
Oh yeah, I guess like the other piece of advice I like to give people, it's like know your limit. Like it is okay to not finish the task for the day. Like because if you start overworking yourself, you're gonna burn out and you're gonna take extra time to recover. So you might as well like take that break, you know. Like before in college, I was pushing myself to stay up till 4 a.m. to complete work and then I go to school at 7 a.m. It was insane. And now in med school, when at 10 o'clock, if I don't finish, I just go to bed because I feel like sleep is more important for me. And if anything, I'll just wake up earlier. I'll wake up at 6, do a little more studying. But it's not the end of the world, you know? Like, I feel like your health is so much more important than, like, that other stuff.
I really like that. Like you have to prioritize yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, we were actually talking about this in our other interview earlier where if you don't put yourself first, you can't expect yourself to help other people.
Yeah.
You just can't.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, how are you supposed to fill up other people's cup if your cup is basically empty? You know, that kind of energy. And, like, people don't want to feel like they're bothering you because you obviously do not look like at your best, you know? So yeah, put yourself first, man. Your mental health, physical health, all of it above. And if you don't know where to start with sleeping habits, start with eating habits, and then start to work your way up to like healthy habits. But cover all the basics. Make sure you eat all the meals, sleep 8 hours. It's tough, you know, but it definitely helps because at least you will physically feel good and that will help you get mentally better as well.
No, I totally relate to that because even in high school, it's like, oh, I have to push myself to take the hardest classes so I can get into the best colleges. And then you're up all night and you don't feel good. And your friends are like, want to hang
Yeah.
out, but you can't. So I feel like I've realized that recently. I used to be really, really, really uptight. And I'm still like that. But I feel like I have a better balance now between life and school. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I relate to that.
That's my goal for senior year is to honestly just like let go. Once college app season is over, I'm fully relying on myself to just like breathe.
I'm telling you, that senioritis in second semester is gonna hit so hard.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm in a medical club called HOSA, and I remember talking to some of the girls. We were at a state competition. I asked, I was like, is senioritis real? And this was at the end of March, early April, and they were like, oh yeah.
It's so
They're
real.
like, everything now is through the window. Like, it's done.
Yeah, I mean, like,
And I was like,
yeah, everybody goes through senioritis. I would just be careful because, like, colleges can rescind you if your senior grades are not good. So I'd be mindful of, like, the balance, you know?
yeah.
I feel
People
like
got
I
rescinded.
try
It's
to.
so sad.
No, I feel like I would be so nervous because not even just like to get like my application like taken away. I just feel like to like in my own head I'd be like I can't, like I just can't. It's like not me to just let it go. I'm going to just be uptight about it and hopefully when I get to college I can relax a little because I feel like I'm just working towards college, but then it's the next thing, so you never know.
It's always gonna feel like there's a new thing. So yeah, stop and make memories along the way. Because honestly, like I was very study heavy in high school. I was the your straight A student, gotta be the best, get a good college, and like now, like I don't really remember much from high school, and I feel like it's kind of sad. Like you should really make memories.
I like that. That's yeah. I think this year like that is just my main goal. And of course, for anyone listening and to myself, like, keep your grades up. It's not over yet, but once it's over and like you're ready, just, yeah, I think living in the present and just being in the moment is so important. So I really like that. And I just got a digital camera, so definitely doing all my pictures this year because I'm such a bad photo taker and I want to be better. Like, all my friends are so good at taking pictures. Like, they have photos from literally every day of their life, and I'm like, oh yeah, here's me on my private story 3 weeks after I posted one thing. So, hi, I'm alive. Welcome back.
Yeah, I
So,
definitely document your life. It's really cool to look back on.
I know. I
Yeah,
I
so I'm very
always like
excited.
watch like old videos from me when I was like 5 years old. Thank you so much for coming on. We learned so much. We had
Of
a great
course.
time. You're so cool.
Okay.
We definitely want to
Oh,
hear about
thanks.
your future like years in medical school, and we'll have you on again when you're graduated.
Damn, that'd be a crazy throwback.
Wouldn't that be so
Yes,
Hopefully I
cool?
make it
original.
through all 4 years.
You'll make it. You'll make it.
Now we're holding you accountable.
Yeah, really.
Not so pre-med pod.
Literally. Oh my god. Branch.
Love it. Oh, well, thank you so much.
All right. Well, that's it for us. Thank you again so much.